Introducing Bernice, the nomadic hunter who has the unique ability to turn a sniper rifle weapon into a shotgun basic attack. Bernice is one of my most anticipated characters coming over from the original game, so I am extremely excited to be talking to you today about his best builds. So let's jump right into it. This was the build that I settled on as one of my absolute favorite builds for Bernice. It was apparent to me really early on that Bernice would best be suited as an auto attack character, as his shotgunning property on his auto attacks made him deal insanely high damage at close range. So naturally I revisited an old favorite of mine, and we are going to be talking about the 4-zone Griefer Polaris build. This is a build that combines speed with power, as you'll be finishing both your weapon and your shoes within your first 2 zones, making you a major threat very early in the game. The nice thing about this is you're going to be able to secure a kill or 2 pretty frequently, pretty consistently in your second zone. It also puts you on the map as a threat very early on, so there's no wandering around waiting for your mid-game power spikes. You're just right in the action right away. Now, the reason why we are talking about Polaris is because it is the only sniper rifle with 4 ammo. The other sniper rifles you can choose from have either 1 or 2, but Polaris, with that very high attack speed, also comes with 4 ammo, which means you're going to be shooting a lot before you're forced to reload. Additionally, those shoes you're going to be making in your second zone, you have the option between White Rhinos and Maverick Runners, as they both finish within your first 2 zones, but I personally prefer the White Rhinos because I like the healing reduction, and honestly, it's just a better set of shoes for the mid to late game. Now, as for the rest of the build, you're going to be going for an optical camouflage suit, which is a great auto attack chest piece. It gives you a lot of crit chance, gives you some attack power, and some decent defensive stats. Motorcycle helmet is a nice max HP helmet. It's very easy to make, and you're going to be finishing that in your third zone, giving you a nice max HP boost to keep you healthy in the early to mid game. And your radar gives you a ton of attack speed and a lot of crit chance as well, making you very powerful and having very powerful auto attacks all throughout the entire game. Now, as for your accessory, you actually have quite a few options here. Schrodinger's box is a pretty common one. It gives you good max HP early, once again keeping you healthy in those early skirmishes where it is really important to have a lot of max HP. Alternatively, you could opt instead for a Buccaneer's doubloon. This thing will finish in your 4th zone instead of your 3rd zone, and it will slightly clutter up your inventory with the ribbon and the Walter PPK, but it does give you better offensive stats than the Schrodinger's box does, and it scales better into the late game where these offensive stats matter a lot more than a little bit of max HP. So really, the choice is yours, but the Schrodinger's box is just sort of the more consistent, safer option. But try out the Buccaneer doubloon sometime and see how you like it. Now, as for the routing, you are going to be going to Uptown first. This is where you're going to be getting a lot of your materials for your weapon and your shoes: the laser pointer, the running shoes, the piano wire, and the oil. These things are all fairly essential, and you should probably avoid leaving without these. The pen is just needed for your radar, so if you don't get that, it's not the end of the world. Same with the watch. Now, once you get over to factory, you just need to rush to find a battery so that you can upgrade your weapon to a blue, and then, of course, get chalk, get stones, and finish your Polaris. That's where you're strongest. In the early game, you have that weapon finished. You can fight pretty much anyone around you. Also, the bandage, the oil. These are the 2 materials you need to get your shoes online, as well as killing a dog nearby for some leather, and then you'll have both your Polaris and your White Rhinos built. You'll be very, very strong at this point. Now, after your first 2 zones, you're going to move up to Chapel. That's where you're going to get your max HP items and finish your radar. If you got all of your earlier pieces, such as the piano wires and the fountain pen, if you missed a piano wire from your first zone, don't worry. There's more in Chapel, so do not worry about missing 1 piano wire in Uptown. But remember, you do need at least 1 to finish your weapon early. Now, after Chapel, you're going to move over to Dock and finish your chest piece, and that's going to be it. This build comes online very fast. It is a speedy build for sure, and it's very powerful as well. So give it a shot and see what you think. Now, this second build I want to talk about is more focused on Lifesteal. You're going to be using TAC 50 instead of Polaris, which instead of having high ammo count, instead of having high attack speed, it instead packs more attack power and 30% lifesteal. Now, keep in mind, Butler Suit only gives you 20% lifesteal, Chinese Opera Mask only gives you 22%, and Moonlight Pendant only gives you 20%. So the fact that this thing is giving you 30% just on your weapon is a significant amount of lifesteal. So again, the focus on this build is more about dealing a lot of damage and healing quite a bit with your fat auto attacks. In addition to that, you're going to be having the Butler suit to also give you some lifesteal, which you'll be finishing within your third zone. Your first two zones will just be you finishing your weapon, but your third zone is where you get both your Butler suit done and your accessory, the laced quiver. Since you do not have attack speed on your weapon like you did with the Polaris in the other build, this lace quiver will be making up for a lot of the attack speed you're missing. You also do have the white rhinos and the radar to also give you some extra attack speed, but for that early game attack speed, the bamboo plus the leather giving you at least that green quiver will give you quite a lot. One more thing is that if you are struggling to find feathers in hospital, make sure your first feather always goes to your Butler suit, because if you don't fully finish the Butler suit, it is doing very little for you. The blue suit is not very good, but the green quiver is not too bad, so always opt to put that first feather towards your Butler suit. Now at this third zone, when you have the weapon done and the Butler suit, you are quite powerful. This is your big early game power spike. You can fight most people around you because you're already on 50% lifesteal. You also have a lot of attack power because Butler suit's giving you 30 and attack 50 is giving you 134. Now, as for the rest of the build, you're going to be heading on over to Avenue after Hospital. Here you're going to be finishing your radar and your white rhinos. The thing is though, one more thing I want to note about the white rhinos is that if you happen to get a third feather in Hospital, which you probably won't because it's your third zone and feathers tend to go out of there pretty quickly, but if you happen to get 3 for whatever reason, you can finish feather boots if you like. It's pretty similar and it would let you finish your shoes in your third zone, but don't worry about it in general. You're just going to be going for the white rhinos over here in Avenue. So finishing both your radar and your white rhinos in your fourth zone, and then finishing just your tack offs over here in your fifth zone, and that is the whole build route. Now, as for the skilling order for these builds, you want to put a point in your ultimate whenever possible. Aside from that though, you should always be maxing out your passive whenever possible. This is the most important part of his kit, and it's what makes all these auto attack builds actually work. Aside from that, max your Q after your passive. It's your main damage source in your skills. Now here's where things get a little bit tricky. Your E and your W are both fantastic skills, but it's not immediately obvious which one is better to max first. Maxing out his W, which is his bear trap, is what gives him that zone control. It lets him put down more traps at once, which is a very important part of his late game plan. But maxing Bernice's E is also extremely important as it gives him more movement speed when he is chasing marked targets, which is his main form of catching up to enemies. Additionally, it gives him more cooldown reduction on his ultimate when he's striking marked targets, and it makes it so the cooldown on his E gets lowered to down to about 6 seconds base from 14, so you can be getting that really nice vision more frequently and marking opponents more often. So really, both of these skills are exceptional as final max targets. It's hard to tell which one you should prioritize, and really it comes down to player preference, so by all means choose whichever you'd prefer. Now with that being said, let's check out a very chaotic example game. Concern. That man is making that precious white powder. I am in trouble. Oh, whoops. I should have put the trap down way earlier. They're not on the same team? Excuse me? What the? Dude, it's hospital all over again. What is happening? Okay. Sure. Dude, everyone trying to, everyone trying to int right into us. What the? They're just being Gobu instead. Big mistake. Chocolate. Yuki, no, Yuki exploded. He like suicided. Wait, I didn't check his body though. Probably should have. Probably should have. Does Meteorite look on the map? I don't think there's an indicator for it. You just have to like find it. You've got to be kidding me, dude. Just barely. Oh, it's round 2. The fiesta's beginning again. What the fuck? Magnus? You okay, bro? What is happening? Who are you people? There's so many of you. What? Hi. Hello, all my friends. Welcome to, Jesus. Welcome to Chapel. Another Magnus. Okay. Hit the chicken. Alright. Alright, we're on 9 kills, guys. Looking pretty good at the moment. Libido, come to Chapel, Libido. What on earth? Holy man. Guessing he maxes passive first? Absolutely, his passive is extremely important. Dude, all these bodies, and nobody has the paper I need. Kind of fucked up. You'd think they'd bring it to me next time. Oh, yeah, I guess there's always next time. Yeah, you'd think, honestly, you would almost think this was a bot game. I can assure you it is not. This is in fact matchmaking, but... Yep. Just the way they swarmed, man. It's crazy. Oh! Libido, come to Chapel, Libido. Continues. Payment is in the mail. What is that damage? That is the damage of being full build and having killed collectively, before this was what? 9 people? It's that damage. Is that Eva here? It is. Yeah, good shit. This champ is literally Graves Lamau. Not sure about that one. Honestly, like, if a shotgun makes a character, I'm gonna say, this character is literally the engineer from TF2, but when he has his shotgun out. I'm gonna go with that one. Or alternatively, this character is a early game Left 4 Dead survivor, but only if he opts to go for the pump shotgun instead of the SMG. But other than that, it is basically like the same thing. Nice shot. Jesus. It's a fat scout from TF2. He had potato bread! Okay, guys, what are we doing? Fess up. Who's making potato bread around here? It's literally Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. Okay, you got me with that one. This character is literally Bernice from Eternal Return. Holy shit, you guys are actually cracking me up. Oh, I hit him? What? That was blind! I'm cracked! What? I'm actually concerned I'm gonna run out of mana in this last fight. It's a legitimate concern. Looks in forest. Jesus. Funnel me. I'm gonna stick with duos for now, simply because I do want to try and get like decent footage potentially to use for later on, and squads gets a little too chaotic for videos, honestly. Duos is more reasonable though. Guys? Whoa. 600 ping? That one hit the whole server, so maybe there's something going on. Kinda weird. Got the whole gang wagon. Oh, I whiffed. Doesn't even matter. Easy GG.